you very much, Adam. The White House now letting members of Congress visit CIA headquarters to view pictures of Osama bin Laden's dead body. But one representative from our state is declining that invitation.
Adam Smith represents Washington's 9th District and is also the top-ranking Democrat on the House Armed Services Committee. And he joins us by phone to break down his decision. Good morning, Representative Smith.
Good morning.
Representative, some members of Congress have already viewed these pictures, and you refuse. Why?
Well, I wouldn't say I refuse. I declined the offer to go see it. I don't think it's necessary, and I think this issue has taken up far too much of our time already. There is no question that Osama bin Laden is dead. Al-Qaeda has acknowledged it. His own family has acknowledged it. We have at least a dozen different executive branch officials in our country who have gone over the DNA data on down the line. He's dead. It's done. It's over. And I think the president was absolutely right in deciding not to release these photos. It would unnecessarily inflame people. It's time to move on and focus on the things going forward that are going to keep this country safe, to acknowledge the accomplishment of killing bin Laden. It's an incredibly important step in this war, but focusing on the photos, I think, is the wrong place to focus. You
released a statement that says you refuse. Essentially, it said you refuse to look at the pictures because your focus is to prevent new threats to the American people.
Right.
With all due respect, you are the top-ranking Democrat on the House Armed Services Committee. How is taking a minute out of one day to take a look at those pictures keeping you from protecting us?
Well, again, it's what is keeping us from protecting us, honestly, I think, is to some degree this conversation that focuses on an issue that's not important. And look, it's not a huge deal to me one way or the other. I'd take a half-hour drive out to CIA and take a look at them. But the point is, I don't think it's necessary. And I think to the extent that we continue to focus on this issue, we raise questions that don't need to be raised that I do think undermine our national security. To the extent people say, well, you got to go see the photos or you don't know he's dead, it starts a debate that shouldn't be had. We know that he is dead. And the more we talk about it, the more we focus away. It's not a question of my time. It's a question of what the focus of our national security apparatus ought to be. Focus of our national security apparatus ought to be on what we can do now moving forward to keep us safe, not on looking at photos to confirm something that is already 100% confirmed.
Okay, so there are conspiracy theorists out there. We know that. Fake pictures as well. What do you say to some of your constituents who want verification that bin Laden is dead?
They have verification. They have, all manner of different people that have seen the photos, that watched him get shot. As I said, Al-Qaeda has acknowledged that he is dead. Bin Laden's family has acknowledged that he is dead. There is no more verification that could possibly be offered that these people would believe. I mean, conspiracy theorists will believe absolutely anything. There's people who still think we didn't land on the moon, okay? At a certain point, you can't convince some people. That's not the point. I think it has been convinced. And again, I'll state the point that the degree to which we have this conversation, the degree to which we say, well, no, you need to see those photos. Not, a couple dozen people have already seen it, but we need somebody else. That simply stirs back up the debate and raises questions that I don't think should be raised. He's dead. It's over. Done with.
You're right. And to be fair, many of your colleagues that have seen the photos say there's absolutely no question now after seeing them that he is indeed dead. So that's dead and buried. Let's just move on.
Yeah, that would be my point. I mean, how many of us do you require to go over there and look at it? Like I said, I trust the president. I trust our SEAL team. I trust the people who obviously released this information and made it absolutely clear quite some time ago.
Okay, so moving a little bit further now, what do you think the killing of bin Laden will do to the stereotype that Democrats typically have been weak on terror?
Well, I think that's been a bogus charge, particularly about President Obama. From the very start of his campaign, he said he wanted to focus the fight in Afghanistan and Pakistan because that is where the people are that hit us on 9/11. That is the central front in the war of terror, that we took our eye off of that ball and focused it on elsewhere. He wanted to refocus back where the threat had come from. He has stepped up the pressure on Al-Qaeda at all levels. Certainly, this is the most dramatic evidence of that. But look, I mean, the war against Al-Qaeda and against their ideology that threatens us is part military, but it's also broader than that. We have to defeat the broader ideology. That's not being weak on terror. That's being smart about how to defeat it. But I think President Obama's made it clear he's going to do what's necessary to stop the people who threaten us. So I think there's absolutely no question that he's doing that.
Representative Adam Smith, thanks so much for taking the time to speak with us this morning. We appreciate it.
Appreciate the chance. Thank you.
All right, have a good day. Parents, students,